안녕하세요. 반갑습니다, 여러분. 이번 시간에는 15장 근육뼈대계통 두 번째 시간입니다. 자, 그럼 시작하겠습니다.
유잉육종,
Ewing sarcoma, Ewing sarcoma, Ewing sarcoma,
뼈돌출증, 외골증,
exostosis, exostosis, exostosis,
골연골종,
osteochondroma, osteochondroma, osteochondroma,
골절,
fracture, fracture, fracture,
단순골절, 폐쇄골절,
simple fracture, simple fracture, simple fracture,
복합골절, 개발골절,
compound fracture, compound fracture, compound fracture,
비빔소리,
crepitus, crepitus, crepitus,
병적골절,
pathologic fracture, pathologic fracture, pathologic fracture,
콜리스골절,
colles fracture, colles fracture, colles fracture,
압박골절,
compression fracture, compression fracture, compression fracture,
분쇄골절,
comminuted fracture, comminuted fracture, comminuted fracture,
생나무골절, 불완전굴곡골절,
greenstick fracture, greenstick fracture, greenstick fracture,
폐쇄정복,
closed reduction, closed reduction, closed reduction,
개방정복,
open reduction, open reduction, open reduction,
개방골절 정복 속고정,
open reduction internal fixation, open reduction internal fixation, open reduction internal fixation,
뼈육종, 골육종,
osteogenic sarcoma, osteogenic sarcoma, osteogenic sarcoma,
뼈 전이,
bone metastasis, bone metastasis, bone metastasis,
고련화증,
osteomalacia, osteomalacia, osteomalacia,
구루병,
rickets, rickets, rickets,
골수염,
osteomyelitis, osteomyelitis, osteomyelitis,
골다공증,
osteoporosis, osteoporosis, osteoporosis,
골감소증,
osteopenia, osteopenia, osteopenia,
휜발 만곡조,
talipes, talipes, talipes,
내반첨조,
talipes equinovarus, talipes equinovarus, talipes equinovarus,
봉합관절,
suture joint, suture joint, suture joint,
윤활관절,
synovial joint, synovial joint, synovial joint,
절구형,
ball and socket type, ball and socket type, ball and socket type,
경첩형,
hinge type, hinge type, hinge type,
관절 주머니, 관절낭,
joint capsule, joint capsule, joint capsule,
관절연골,
articular cartilage, articular cartilage, articular cartilage,
윤활막, 활막,
synovial membrane, synovial membrane, synovial membrane,
윤활공간,
synovial cavity, synovial cavity, synovial cavity,
윤활액, 활액,
synovial fluid, synovial fluid, synovial fluid,
반달연골,
meniscusum, meniscusum, meniscusum,
윤활주머니, 윤활낭,
bursa, bursa, bursa,
관절구듬, 관절강지,
ankylosis, ankylosis, ankylosis,
관절성형,
arthroplasty, arthroplasty, arthroplasty,
관절절개,
arthrotomy, arthrotomy, arthrotomy,
혈관절증,
hemarthrosis, hemarthrosis, hemarthrosis,
물관절증,
hydrarthrosis, hydrarthrosis, hydrarthrosis,
다관절염,
polyarthritis, polyarthritis, polyarthritis,
낭염, 주머니염,
bursitis, bursitis, bursitis,
연골 무형성증,
achondroplasia, achondroplasia, achondroplasia,
연골육종,
chondrosarcoma, chondrosarcoma, chondrosarcoma,
연골연화증,
chondromalacia, chondromalacia, chondromalacia,
윤활막염, 활막염,
synovitis, synovitis, synovitis,
힘줄봉합,
tenorrhea, tenorrhea, tenorrhaphy,
힘주렴커녕,
tendinitis, tendinitis, tendinitis,
관절 고정술,
arthrodesis, arthrodesis, arthrodesis,
척추관 협착증,
spinal stenosis, spinal stenosis, spinal stenosis,
강직 척추염,
ankylosing spondylitis, ankylosing spondylitis, ankylosing spondylitis,
통풍관절염,
gouty arthritis, gouty arthritis, gouty arthritis,
요산,
uric acid, uric acid, uric acid,
고요산혈증,
hyperuricemia, hyperuricemia, hyperuricemia,
발통증,
podagra, podagra, podagra,
골관절염,
osteoarthritis, osteoarthritis, osteoarthritis,
퇴행관절병,
degenerative joint disease, degenerative joint disease, degenerative joint disease,
류마티스 관절염,
rheumatoid arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis,
관절강지,
bony ankylosis, bony ankylosis, bony ankylosis,
발열열,
pyrexia, pyrexia, pyrexia,
엄지건망류,
bunion, bunion, bunion,
무지외반증,
hallux valgus, hallux valgus, hallux valgus,
손목골증후군, 수근관증후군,
carpal tunnel syndrome, carpal tunnel syndrome, carpal tunnel syndrome,
탈구, 어긋남, 전이 이탈,
dislocation, dislocation, dislocation,
어깨탈구,
shoulder dislocation, shoulder dislocation, shoulder dislocation,
엉덩이 탈구,
hip dislocation, hip dislocation, hip dislocation,
불완전 탈구, 아탈구,
subluxation, subluxation, subluxation,
신경전랑, 결절종낭,
ganglion cyst, ganglion cyst, ganglion cyst,
원반 탈출, 추간판 탈출,
herniation of an intervertebral disc, herniation of an intervertebral disc, herniation of an intervertebral disc,
허리 통증, 요통,
low back pain, low back pain, low back pain,
좌골신경통,
sciatica, sciatica, sciatica,
추간판 절제,
discectomy, discectomy, discectomy,
라임병,
Lyme disease, Lyme disease, Lyme disease,
삠염좌,
sprain, sprain, sprain,
긴장, 과도긴장,
strain, strain, strain,
전신홍 발루푸스,
systemic lupus erythematosus, systemic lupus erythematosus, systemic lupus erythematosus,
가로무늬 근육, 횡문근,
striated muscle, striated muscle, striated muscle,
수익은 맘대로근,
voluntary muscle, voluntary muscle, voluntary muscle,
뼈대 근육, 골격근,
skeletal muscle, skeletal muscle, skeletal muscle,
민무늬 근육, 평활근,
smooth muscle, smooth muscle, smooth muscle,
불수익은 제대로 근육,
involuntary muscle, involuntary muscle, involuntary muscle,
심장 근육,
cardiac muscle, cardiac muscle, cardiac muscle,
기시,
origin, origin, origin,
닿는 곳, 부착,
insertion, insertion, insertion,
굽힘, 굴곡,
flexion, flexion, flexion,
폄, 신전,
extension, extension, extension,
벌림, 외전,
abduction, abduction, abduction,
모험, 내전,
adduction, adduction, adduction,
돌림, 회전,
rotation, rotation, rotation,
등쪽 굽힘, 후방 굽힘,
dorsiflexion, dorsiflexion, dorsiflexion,
발바닥 쪽 굽힘,
plantar flexion, plantar flexion, plantar flexion,
뒤침, 회외,
supination, supination, supination,
엎침, 회내,
pronation, pronation, pronation,
근막절개,
fasciotomy, fasciotomy, fasciotomy,
섬유근통,
fibromyalgia, fibromyalgia, fibromyalgia,
평활근종,
leiomyoma, leiomyoma, leiomyoma.
평활근육종,
Leiomyosarcoma, leiomyosarcoma, leiomyosarcoma.
근육통,
Myalgia, myalgia, myalgia.
근전도 검사,
Electromyography, electromyography, electromyography.
근육병증,
Myopathy, myopathy, myopathy.
근육염,
Myositis, myositis, myositis.
횡문근종,
Rhabdomyoma, rhabdomyoma, rhabdomyoma.
횡문근육종,
Rhabdomyosarcoma, rhabdomyosarcoma, rhabdomyosarcoma.
근육감소, 근감소증,
Sarcopenia, sarcopenia, sarcopenia.
중증근무력증,
Myasthenia gravis, myasthenia gravis, myasthenia gravis.
위축증,
Atrophy, atrophy, atrophy.
비대,
Hypertrophy, hypertrophy, hypertrophy.
근위축 측삭경화증,
Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis.
다발근육통,
Polymyalgia, polymyalgia, polymyalgia.
근육 디스트로피,
Muscular dystrophy, muscular dystrophy, muscular dystrophy.
듀셴느 근디스트로피,
Duchenne muscular dystrophy, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, Duchenne muscular dystrophy.
다발근육염,
Polymyositis, polymyositis, polymyositis.
항액항체 검사,
Antinuclear antibody test, antinuclear antibody test, antinuclear antibody test.
적혈구 침강 속도, 혈침 속도,
Erythrocyte sedimentation rate, erythrocyte sedimentation rate, erythrocyte sedimentation rate.
류마티스 인자 검사,
Rheumatoid factor test, rheumatoid factor test, rheumatoid factor test.
혈청칼슘,
Serum calcium, serum calcium, serum calcium.
혈청 크레아틴 키나아제,
Serum creatine kinase, serum creatine kinase, serum creatine kinase.
요산 검사,
Uric acid test, uric acid test, uric acid test.
관절천자,
Arthrocentesis, arthrocentesis, arthrocentesis.
관절조형,
Arthrography, arthrography, arthrography.
전체 엉덩관절 치환, 전체 고관절 치환,
Total hip replacement arthroplasty, total hip replacement arthroplasty, total hip replacement arthroplasty.
전슬관절 치환술, 전무릎 관절 치환술,
Total knee replacement arthroplasty, total knee replacement arthroplasty, total knee replacement arthroplasty.
절제 관절성 형술,
Resection arthroplasty, resection arthroplasty, resection arthroplasty.
삽입관절성 형술,
Interposition arthroplasty, interposition arthroplasty, interposition arthroplasty.
교정관절성 형술,
Revision arthroplasty, revision arthroplasty, revision arthroplasty.
관절 경검사,
Arthroscopy, arthroscopy, arthroscopy.
뼈밀도 검사, 골밀도 검사,
Bone density test, bone density test, bone density test.
이중 에너지 방사선 흡수 계측법,
Dual energy X-ray absorptiometry, dual energy X-ray absorptiometry, dual energy X-ray absorptiometry.
뼈 스캔,
Bone scan, bone scan, bone scan.
컴퓨터 단층 촬영술,
Computed tomography, computed tomography, computed tomography.
추간판 조형,
Discography, discography, discography.
자기 공명 영상,
Magnetic resonance imaging, magnetic resonance imaging, magnetic resonance imaging.
근육 생검, 근생검,
Muscle biopsy, muscle biopsy, muscle biopsy.
무릎의 앞십자인대, 전십자인대,
Anterior cruciate ligament of the knee, anterior cruciate ligament of the knee, anterior cruciate ligament of the knee.
하퇴절단, 스라부 절단,
Below knee amputation, below knee amputation, below knee amputation.
깊은 힘 줄반사, 신부건 반사.
Deep tendon reflex, deep tendon reflex, deep tendon reflex.
수액 탈출증, 탈출수액.
Herniated nucleus pulposus, herniated nucleus pulposus, herniated nucleus pulposus.
비스테로이드 소염제.
Nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drug, nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drug, nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drug.
운동 범위.
Range of motion, range of motion, range of motion.